Today, sermons on spirituality and religion can be heard everywhere. Wherever we look, there is an attempt to teach us what is good and what is bad. Most religious figures indeed speak truthfully, basing their advice on God's book and the Prophet's Sunnah. However, there is a shortcoming in these sermons: a lack of system. Those who speak in the name of religion today don't present a hierarchical system of values. We don't know which values are primary and which are secondary. Therefore, we imagine religious values as a jumble of good deeds. Deeds, whether meritorious or sinful, are countless, yet we don't know what leads to what or how they are interconnected. Since we don't know the core values, we also lack a systematic approach. Struggle with the self is a fundamental value in Islam and a central aspect of a Muslim's life. Saying no to oneself manifests in two forms: remaining content with Allah even when He doesn't give what you want, and abandoning something you desire because it's forbidden. Being content with divine will and obedient to divine command are two forms of struggle with the self. One day, the Prophet saw his daughter Fatima looking pale and frail with her children and asked, "Don't you have anything to eat at home?" Fatima replied, "You are all we have, O Messenger of Allah," meaning she didn't point out that there was no food at home, didn't emphasize the lack, but saw what she possessed and highlighted that. This is a sign of contentment. The formula of Tawheed, la ilaha illallah, starts with a statement of denial. That is, say no to everything except Allah so you can affirm Allah. The struggle against the self is the practice of Tawheed. Surah An-Nazi'at, verses 40 and 41, also refer to this. Whereas for the one who feared to stand before his Lord and restrained his self from the evil desire, the paradise will be the abode. Hence, a hadith says that the progress of the self is found in going against it. Another hadith states that a person is not complete until they overcomes their desires. This means that perfection is not achieved through faith, knowledge, study, and worship alone. Only by declaring a struggle against the self can faith reach completeness. For many, viewing religion from such a perspective is difficult. If religion is not a code of traditions and morals, or a collection of teachings studied in seminaries, or a set of unrelated laws, then many of us need to change our outlook on life. If Tawheed has no practical significance in the struggle against the self, life will be bitter and uncomfortable. People either don't want to break free from the stereotypes they're used to, or they shy away from fighting difficulties. As a result, a misguided worldview arises, with Quranic verses and hadiths being misunderstood. Everyone sees religion from different angles, not perceiving it as a composition, a unity. Without the struggle against the self, religion will fall prey to tastes, psychological state, societal mentality, and so on, leading to misunderstandings. In the previous discussion, we mentioned the second verse of Surah Jumu'ah. It is He who has sent among the unlettered a messenger from among themselves, reciting to them His verses and purifying them, and teaching them the book and wisdom, although before that they were clearly misguided. Here, Allah specifies teaching wisdom as one of the Prophet's missions. The mention of both book and wisdom separately indicates that these are distinct concepts. If the book is knowledge acquired externally, wisdom is knowledge that flows from the heart. A person with wisdom, even with little knowledge, has a systematic outlook. A person without wisdom, even if well-informed, will fail to connect information. Thus, wisdom has an exceptional role in forming a complete, broad, and comprehensive worldview. The struggle with the self fosters this worldview. Many people fear hardships, thinking that if they enter the arena of self-struggle, life will be bitter and hard. This is where the error lies. Whether or not people enter this arena, they are destined to live amid hardship. Deprivation is a characteristic of worldly life. People, regardless of their religion, race, or language, sacrifice certain desires to achieve others. One who wants to be a scholar forces themselves to study. A businessman forces themselves to work. One who wants to look good follows a diet. An athlete subjects themselves to strenuous exercise, and so on. If someone wants to achieve something, they must sacrifice other desires and commit themselves to a particular goal. In the end, the sweetness of achieving the goal makes them forget the bitterness of the means. In other words, one must learn to face difficulties. What are these difficulties? About this in the next episode.